finally, a source of raw, real, and honest information on healthcare issues that matter most. Welcome to BS Free MD. From the latest medical information to how to stay sane as a doctor or a patient, no subject is taboo and no BS is allowed. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Doctors May and Tim Hindmarsh.
Hello, welcome everybody. We are in a weird location. The lighting's not that great. It's quiet. We are far, far away on the other side of the world, and we wanted to bring you a live stream, even if it's short and sweet. We want it to be outside, but it's dark, it's noisy, and there's not very good signal. But here we are, hanging out with you anyway, and I'm still jet lagged because it's my bedtime here.
Yes, we are in Orlando, which means if we did this outside, there's way too many children.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Depends on what you're trying to do. So anyways, yes.
Well, as you can see, we are drinking a special cocktail tonight, brought to you by
Coke Zero.
And I won't ask what we're drinking inside the Coke Zero.
They're just Coke Zero. There's nothing but Coke Zero.
We're keeping it mocktail night tonight, as Tim's got an early night. He's got a big morning tomorrow, so we have to get up early. What do you want to share happening in the news? Anything local?
Yeah, well, so we figured what's local and medical in the whole Central Florida, because Orlando is kind of the capital of Central Florida, right? And of course, guess what? I'll read you the article. It's amazing, and we'll see if this means anything to you. It's from the it actually came out. It's the AARP journal, but it came out on Family Medicine's Smart Brief, so that they're alerting all of the family practice doctors out there that leprosy cases are on the rise in the U.S. CDC warns the disease may now be endemic in Florida.
Leprosy.
Uh-oh. It's doubled. The cases have doubled. Although historically uncommon in the United States, an increasing number of cases are being diagnosed in the Southeast and in particularly Central Florida. So you thought that this is where the magic happened? No, this is where your fingers fall off. Yeah, I mean, they had to close Disney because just fingers and toes everywhere.
So if
Did you know that? Everywhere. Fingers and toes.
If the gators don't get them?
Fingers and toes.
Then it's leprosy for you.
The number of cases, okay, this is from a research study.
Yeah, so what, yeah.
Has more than doubled in the southeastern United States.
She wants to know what's doubled. What's the number?
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? Because they write these sensational, and there was leprosy in Florida all over the news for the last week. If you did any medical news research like I do, it was absolutely everywhere. And it's doubled to a whopping 159 cases in the entire country. And 1/5 are in Central Florida, which means you have it peaked out in 2020 at a whopping 25 cases.
That's a lot of cases, though. Still
25 cases, and it may be endemic. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I wonder if any of our viewers even imagine that there's any leprosy anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, so let's talk about leprosy because it's a freak out for nothing. First of all, leprosy is quite contagious, but it's actually very contagious. But 95% of people, 95%, not 92, 95% of people have natural immunity. So they do not get the disease. Plus, the incubation period, which means from the time you get the virus to the time you actually get leprosy, is 3 to 7 years.
Wow.
Okay. So we're not going to be dealing with a big pandemic, but you wait. We've just developed a leprosy vaccine, whatever. 95% natural immunity already. So whatever. This is the biggest nothing burger in the history of. This is a nothing burger. This is a triple nothing burger with fries. And I have a feeling in the back of my head, it's there to shit on Florida because of a certain governor, anything that shits on Florida is somehow good. And I have a feeling that that's why there's all of a sudden cases double. Okay. Not only that. Okay. So not only does it have a 3 to 7 year incubation period, not only do 95% of people infected with the virus, not get leprosy, it can be treated effectively with antibiotics.
Of course.
So the key is, if you get lesions on your skin that are totally anesthetic, feel nothing, you might want to get tested. It's not that hard. You got 3 years to figure it out.
Usually
you have a rash for 3 years. I mean, if you have a rash for 3 years that doesn't get better and it's numb, and you go to light a cigarette and it doesn't hurt, and it's been there for 3 years, maybe you deserve to have your fingers fall off.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm just saying,
because you were telling me about ignore all those spots on my back that I thought were turning into melanoma,
and they weren't. And you got them checked, and they were nothing.
And guess
Why?
what?
Because I'm a genius.
I got them. No, the dermatologist took care of them.
Yeah, whatever. Still a genius.
Right. So usually the symptoms are going to be, you're right, loss of sensation, usually a blister or a sore.
All right.
And the reason fingers and toes fall off isn't not that they rot off. It's because people start to damage body parts because they're numb, and then you don't feel them. So then you can burn them, like you said, injure them, cut them. Things start to happen.
Well,
so then
you
get secondary infections, etc.
To quote Roger Waters, they become comfortably numb, or as the case may be, uncomfortably numb. So
yeah, it's a really horrible disease, though, because it's not just losing fingers and toes. You can lose limbs, go blind, all kinds.
Yeah, but you got 3 years. You got 3 years.
You're just being an ass.
Well, I'm an expert at being an ass. So here, in other Florida news, this one I just absolutely love, and it is sort of medical. Florida Sheriff's Office issues hilarious heads up to folks wanting to call 911 over ocean creatures in distress near beach. So this is in Pinellas County, which is just west of Tampa. Noted that Pinellas County Sheriff's Office noted that over the weekend, it's getting calls all the time from citizens believing that manatees bunched together and climbing over each other are in distress. We can assure you they are more than fine. The Sheriff's Office went on to explain that the manatees actually, much like frat houses, manatees mate in herds.
Oh my gosh. So this is
literally people are coming across manatee orgies in Pinellas County and freaking out and calling the sheriffs because kindly they think, my gosh, the manatees are in pain. They're dying.
They think they're in pain. They're endangered, and really they're just ready to light a cigarette.
They're just that's what they should do. They should throw out a pack of Camels into the but I'm sorry. I'm trying to imagine what this is like the big pile o manatee. Oh, the humanity.
So, oh my gosh.
Oh, the humanity.
Man,
can you imagine if we were actually drinking? How much fun.
I'm just like, is that all you could find in the weird medical news for the week?
Oh, well, I have to make it Central Florida specific.
Yes, of course.
Oh, the humanity.
Lyme disease is on the uprise this year. I think we talked about that before everywhere, not just Florida, because of the wetter spring we had and the increase in ticks and deer-borne tick bites and so forth.
Caligula. I like that. That Tom wins. You win. Hands down. Caligula wins.
Perfect.
Have you heard of hyperbaric therapy?
If you want better circulation, oxygenation, or respiration,
turn up the volume.
Everyone appreciates the increased energy and clarity.
Athletes say goodbye to those PRs because you're going to blast
So
them.
how does it work?
We load your body with oxygen.
That means
less inflammation,
fewer allergies,
faster healing, and more.
Come see us, 1200 Executive Parkway.
You know, the Upside Down building.
Call us, 541-636-3278.
That's 541-636-3278.
We have some incredible deals.
Heal, build, and thrive
with New Leaf Hyperbarics.
Got air?
Be on the lookout if you're in the northeast part of the country or the northwest where there's a lot of ticks. I thought I saw one in our neck of the woods.
Well, there's lots of ticks
weeks in our house, but anyways,
there's tons of ticks where we live. There's just not necessarily a Borgdorfery
carrying
whatever
the
the
spider
line.
heat.
Yeah.
So
Ticks are terrible.
If you get a tick bite, we used to see people come in all the time to urgent care with ticks on them, freaking out. I mean, you really can, I'd say, take them off within 72 hours. You have to remove the thing before you really get infected with Lyme disease. So,
but
take a deep breath.
Don't even mention Lyme disease to people. Honestly, like
take a deep breath.
Like I hate it so much because it is really
remove the tick properly. And there's antibiotics for that too. So
if you have ongoing symptoms you think are Lyme, actually seek out an infectious disease doctor. Get a referral to somebody that knows what the hell they're doing with it. It's very, very, very difficult to diagnose. It's not a lab test that says you have Lyme disease, you win. You have Mayo. It's not like that. It's very difficult to interpret. The clinical signs are difficult to interpret. Chronic Lyme is very difficult. Like there's literally in my opinion, a handful of people in the United States that really know what the hell they're doing with this. It gets super overdiagnosed in some respects, and it gets completely ignored in others. It's not a. Have you heard the theory that they thought it was bioengineered?
No, I have not. But
that Lyme disease was bioengineered as a bioweapon and escaped, and was blown into the Northeast from I think it was on Long Island, or as they say, Long Island, and then got up into Connecticut and Lime County there, and the rest is history. Because we wanted to make a bioweapon, where you could have an infectious vector, where you could just drop the vector into Soviet herds of cattle, and then they would infect the people over time, and it would be the stealthiest bioweapon ever. Yeah, there's a tinfoily conspiracy about Lyme disease.
Interesting. No, I haven't heard that.
Yep, that's a good one. Because that's very plausible. I'm not saying it's right, but I love that one because it's genius, right? Just like they wanted to. The CIA was actually working on coating cigars with super carcinogenic materials and importing them into Cuba and getting them into Castro's stash.
Oh my God.
So he'd smoke these and absorb all this carcinogen poison through his skin and his mouth, and then just get cancer and die in 6 months. And people would go, "Oh, wow, he got cancer and died." And it was actually the CIA that took him out. That one that one's real. That one,
wow,
has been known for a long time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, speaking of the humanity, we actually saw a really good movie this afternoon in the IMAX theater. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen Oppenheimer and all about the making of the H-bomb and the atomic bomb and too many bombs, and the whole biopic of that, really good.
Well, it was really good, and there was I couldn't help but at the end. It was very well done. I really liked it. And the thing I found quite amusing actually was these Hollywood types that were like woker than the wokest wokesters on Woke Valley. And they're writing that there's this line where Oppenheimer is being grilled by the powers that be. And it's like he's saying no scientist should be silenced for speaking their their opinion. And I'm like, really? Like what happened in the last 3 years? Meryl Nass, Peter McCullough, Harvey Ridge.
Yeah. Good point.
On and on and on.
Good observation.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. Because it was the McCarthy era and they're going after communists. Hollywood tends to be filled with communists. At least it has. Let's be perfectly honest. So they're bad. No, authoritarians are bad. No, the war machine is bad. No, the military industrial complex is bad. No, yeah, they're all bad. And I mean, it was just like the irony. It was like literally dripping off of the IMAX screen. I was just like, enough already.
Oh, I wonder when they started filming that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Great film. Go see it if you get the opportunity.
Yes.
I don't have much else to say other than there is the
spoiler alert.
R-rated.
The bomb worked.
Jeez, I was going to talk about the full frontal nudity section if you're thinking of taking your kids.
The full frontal noodling? There was some of that too.
I never said that.
Oh, you almost said
I
that.
said nudity.
Yeah, okay. You had trouble with that.
Oh my gosh.
Full frontal noodling.
Anything else on your mind?
No, not really. It's late here. I'm not used to staying up to 9:15. No, I am.
So this week on our podcast,
who do we have coming up?
Tomorrow or this Thursday is Dr. Sheila Carroll, a pediatrician who kind of got burnt out and has left her practice to do coaching parents as well as kids on how to follow a healthy lifestyle, but really trying to make changes in diet to kids by educating parents on how to make healthy life choices and pass it on to the family. So it's pretty cool because she empowers and coaches the parents how to pick healthy food and also how to motivate their kids to be active, physically active, motivated to make changes with their food choices.
And that's a big deal.
And really
like massive
change
deal.
the way of thinking for the whole family. So that's a really exciting episode. Anyone I think can work with her online. So you want to take a listen to that.
Today's Truth Bomb was about laughter.
Yeah, because you know all how I like to laugh at his jokes. And we talked about that as well as repurposing on Mondays our podcast from Wednesday nights. Other than that, we don't have a whole lot we wanted to share with you, but wanted to just come on here to say, hey, we try to keep it live every Wednesday for the Doctales. Next Wednesday, we're not quite sure what we're going to be doing because it's a travel day and it might be a little tough. So we'll figure out what we're going to do for that one. Other than that,
we might have to do it from the air.
Yes. Well, that'll be challenging.
That would be almost impossible.
Yes. So
because we don't have a private jet. If you want to pay for one, we would be happy to do it. But
yes,
yeah.
If you'd like to pay for a jet or sponsor us in any way, we're all there. We've also linked on Instagram and Facebook pages and actually an interview where we were guests on a podcast from our previous coach from last year, Coach K. Her name's Christina. And that was a really fun and in-depth interview all through out our backgrounds, the history of our athletic backgrounds, injuries, motivation, and also a bunch of stuff that I've gone through in my past, which you've probably, if you haven't heard me talk about, the abuse that I had growing up and the baggage that came along with it, and all about forgiveness as well as trying not to be offended. So that is a really good listen. If you want to head to her podcast, it's called Making Changes, Breaking Barriers. And I love it. I listen to her podcast with regularity because there's a lot of great tips. It's coaching, psychology on how to make changes and overcome psychological barriers. And she has some amazing guests with really cool backgrounds, a lot of athletes and personalities like that. So check that out as well. And you can find the little blips in our show, in our reels and on our pages. But you can find her podcast. It's on Spotify and Instagram as well.
Yep. And we are now on the Twitters or the X as it can be. So we have some stuff that's posting up there, and absolutely some of the retweets and so forth are great because it really has become, at least in the medical freedom world, a relatively safe place. So give us a follow there as well, because Instagram and Facebook, like, who knows?
Right. All righty. Well, you get to have a short night with us. I think this is the shortest Doctales we've ever done.
It's the shortest thing I've ever done. And I'm pretty short.
I'm not even gonna tag on to that one. I'm too tired to even think at this point. All right, everybody. Drop us your comments, send us your messages, and we will see you guys next time.
It's no secret that medicine is a bit uptight. That's why Tim and I created BS Free MD, to mix things up a little and have fun in the process. Besides, we are having these exact same discussions all the time, so we thought we might as well invite everyone to the party. If you really like us, you can get plenty more and maybe see one of Tim's cool tattoos on our Instagram or Facebook pages at BS3MD. See you next time.
While we try to keep BS3MD as raw and real as possible, we can't be held responsible for any medical decisions or discussions had as a result of what you've heard on the show. We know, bummer. But the truth is, we really do care about your questions. So feel free to reach out to us by email at doc@bs3md.com.